Hi team, I am just on here, I guess, wanting to share with you a little bit about my story and how I got to the I Quit Diets brand, how I started the, I guess, movement. But yeah, let me know if you're on here, where you're from. I'm in Newcastle, Australia. It is quite the interesting city. Lots and lots and lots of exciting people to see. Um, but yeah, it's pretty fun. But it's been an interesting couple of weeks since we arrived here. So with the I Quit Diets brand and the whole idea of creating your most abundant and freedom from diets type of life is basically, when I was younger, and 14, 15, 16, I was quite in the heart of a eating disorder. So at the time, I really was trying to control situations and the toxic family life that I was in at the time. And I turned to food, and I used food and my body as a way to deal and cope with things. So I know there's a lot of people out there in the Instagram world that obviously are struggling with things like eating disorders, bulimia, disordered eating, control around exercise, feast and famine when it comes to this sort of stuff. So I just thought it would be nice to share my progress and my journey along, and it's essentially how to go from being that destructive and thinking from a lack mentality and deciding to love yourself, deciding to like food and have a good relationship with food, create a really abundant and fun relationship with exercise, not just using it as a way to burn calories, but as a way to truly, truly gain energy from giving energy. So 15, 16, I was in the heart of the eating disorder, and then my sister basically found a bottle of Metamucil, and that was the day that I was like, no, I don't have an eating disorder. My parents decided not to send me to therapy. So that basically sent a message to my younger self that I wasn't worthy of being heard. And that was something that I took through into my later years as well. So then, keep going, finishing school, not really into school, feeling like a failure around that sort of situation because, yeah, I didn't do what the masses were telling me to do. So everything I was racked with guilt, shame, judgment, all that sort of negative emotions that weigh you down on a soul level. And so then you try and control it, through eating, through exercise, whatever it is, drugs, alcohol, whatever it is. Mine was using my body as a way to really, truly get my grip on what was going on. So then I, did the normal thing. I went out, got drunk when I left school and did that for a few years. And then when I was about 24, I opened a book by Louise Hay, which basically told me that I could own my life and really take ownership on what was going on. And that made me feel quite empowered. So then I really felt like the blinkers were off and I was actually in this life now, but I was still really confused on what to do with it. So I still liked exercise, but I was still obsessed with food. I was obsessed with dieting. I was obsessed with anything that would make me 10 kilos lighter. That would be something I would do. I'd start a diet every Monday. I didn't really have a regular career or job. I didn't know where I was going. I was still really lost. And on a soul level, I really wasn't fulfilled. So I traveled for 6 months. I really felt amazing, but I was really disconnected. My mind and my body were really disconnected. So I still had lots of binging going on. I really didn't know what to do when it came to I really didn't know what to do when it came to having a healthy relationship with food and exercise. I knew that my head was healthy, but I just didn't know how to stop all that binging and all that stuff that made me reach for food that I was trying to fulfill myself essentially. So basically, I went on a bit of a journey. So I used a few different holistic tools, and I went and saw a lady called Carla who ran a business called Life After Diets, and she showed me that it was actually something more that I was hungry for, and that's what I was trying to get fulfillment from the binging, from the eating, from the exercising, whatever it was. So I went to see her after I started to become a personal trainer, and I lost all this weight, but I was still really, really, really anxious, overwhelmed, and had a really negative relationship with food still. Like, I couldn't even speak about this sort of subject without welling up and having tears. It was like, because of that alignment, well, I guess that story that I'd created, that my story wasn't worth being heard, I basically went on through life deciding that I wasn't worthy of having a voice. So because of that was another thing that I was suppressing. I didn't have any value on having my voice. I didn't have any value on being heard, of being valued. Like, my self-worth was terrible. So I took many years to sort of go through different things. I did kinesiology. I went to counselors. Some of them were great and some were bad. I did Bowen therapy. I got my vagina steamed. I tried everything at least once. Like, that is my theory. Like, give everything a go. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, then that's cool too. So I did the personal training thing. Then I started to train 12-week challenges, and it was like a light had gone off. I had found my dream job. Everything was flowing. Money was flowing, all that sort of stuff. And then I basically just worked because I thought the only way to value this job and all this abundance flowing towards me was if I essentially burnt myself out. And I kind of sabotaged myself because, again, it was like I hit a ceiling where I, having too much money or too much love and too much value was like really uncomfortable for me. So I didn't know how to up-level myself from a soul point of view. So I sabotaged myself. We had 2 businesses at the time. I was a personal trainer, I was doing marketing, and we had a coffee shop. And I got very, very burnt out from taking on too much of everyone else's problems. People would do these challenges. They would do the 12-week challenge. They would lose all this weight. They would look, in the dieting culture definition, or the bikini body challenge definition, they would look perfect, like amazing, but they would get to this 12-week challenge, get to the end date, and they would still kind of have these like judgmental and negative thoughts and feelings about themselves, about their bodies. And that was something that really stuck with me. Like, it hurt my soul. Like, the little kid inside of me was like, why can't everyone just be happy? And I think by that point I'd healed quite a fair bit of the relationship I had with food, with exercise, and with myself. So to see these other people really, 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 truly broke my heart. So what I did is I decided to create a self-love workshop, because people were essentially, that was what was obvious to me, is that if we had self-love, then when we get these results from doing exercise and eating these particular foods, then surely if we believe that we deserve it, we're going to keep and maintain that ideal body. And the ideal body to me now that I like to describe is your thriving body. So it's the body that you're happy with, in terms of everything just feels easy. And I teach you guys not to sabotage those results. So getting that body and not, sabotaging yourself with old beliefs and behaviors, but believing that you deserve that body, believing that it's okay and it's safe to eat those nutritional foods. It's okay to fuck up as well, because you just forgive yourself anyway. And it's also something that you deserve. So you deserve to be able to look in the mirror, touch your body, not pull and prod at it, but touch it, give it pleasure. You deserve those things, and that's actually part of your birthright. So that's something that I wanted to really bring home. So then a couple of years passed, and I kind of just didn't really pull that workshop out, and then I had a baby. And of course, having a baby, when your life is going well and everything feels good and you feel in control of everything, and you still have a lack mentality and you haven't learned how to create an abundant mentality yet, when everything gets and changes, so I was quite in control of everything that was going on. I was running a business, and then I had a baby. I could no longer define myself by the success of my business, because I had to go home and look after this child, and there was no financial reward for my efforts each day. So, on to a new lesson of learning of scarcity versus abundance. So basically, when my child was between 6 and 9 months, I wrote my e-course, A New Relationship. So I put videos with modules and it goes for 4 weeks. It's about acknowledging your negative mind, forgiving it, having fun with food, and basically learning how to move again without it just being about calories, zapping calories. So in those 4 weeks, I've got about 5 modules, and I honestly think it is the most soul warming, amazing e-course that it's just got so much good stuff. It's basically 10 years of my learning into a version that I've created that helps people with holistic tools, and it doesn't talk about how, it's just, it's not the Band-Aid solution. It is literally the soulful solution that will help you. It will show you how worthy you are with all my affirmation, with all the affirmation modules. It'll show you how worthy you are and how easy it is to interact with food. So the abundance, your relationship and creating an abundant relationship and a freedom relationship is unlocking all of that negativity, forgiving it, letting it go, not letting it weigh you down anymore and stress you out, because stress is a huge loop for weight gain, and excess, fat stores that you don't necessarily need in your body. So making sure that you can release and let go of all that sort of stuff, it makes such a huge difference to your progress, to your maintaining your progress, to the results that you get. To get your most thriving body and to maintain it for the rest of your life, you have to be fulfilled on a soul level. You have to do things that make you thrive, whether that's looking after kids all day long and really creating space for yourself, or going back to work, or following a career and not following the masses, and having a baby. Like it's something that you really need to get to know yourself. You need to get to know your body, and you need to get feedback from it all the time so that you're constantly fulfilling your body's needs. And it's going to change over time. It doesn't stay the same all the time. So in those 2 years that I had little Thorman, basically we had some financial, not issues, but because I wasn't working and that definition wasn't there anymore, I started to feel lack again. So all my fears came up, my body fears came up, but they didn't really surface a lot. It was just sort of like, get back into it, just keep eating the way you used to. But hormones change. So as much as my doctor says to me 2 years on, your hormones have gone back to normal, my headspace is not the same as it used to be. So at the moment, after being overseas for 5 months, my metabolic conditioning has changed, and that's something that I have to go on a journey myself. I have to seek professionals in that. So I'm going to see a hormone specialist. I go to yoga when I feel anxiety popping up a little bit too strongly. I just go and clear my head. I might have to do yoga a couple of days in a row. I go for a walk, but exercise is a big therapy thing for me. So being able to get out, I do your F45s, and if I don't get time to do that, I do my workouts at home, and wherever I can around the house. And during that day, I create a jungle gym with my body. So I journal pretty much every single day, those negative thoughts, and I forgive them. I use an EFT method as well. All this sort of stuff is in my e-course. But, and I created a 28-day challenge while I was overseas because I wanted to show women how we use excuses or dieting blocks, so things that stop us from achieving our body. We use them to sabotage our results because we just believe that at the end of the day, we believe we're not enough. We believe we don't deserve our results. So we sabotage them when we do things, and we create situations in our lives and repetitive behaviors, and we don't get the results that we want because we don't truly believe that we want them. So our actions don't follow. So it's really important to make sure that you have simple actions every day, to make sure that you see your life abundantly. So that, in the health and fitness thing, it's looking and going, okay, my kid's having a bath right now. Oh, I'm on my knees. I'm going to do some push-ups off the side of the bath, or I'm going to squat. Your kid's sometimes going to copy you in the bath, obviously safety first. But your kid is going to look at you. He's going to see that moving your body and shaking off excess emotions are ways to shake off, stank energy. It's ways that you can truly move and love yourself and love your body. And you're probably going to laugh a little bit when you do that sort of stuff. So the kids are going to copy it. All those thoughts that you have in your head, they generally somehow come out in your words. So you want to make sure those thoughts are really strong. You want to make sure those thoughts are really positive, a healthy relationship. And you want to make sure when they come out of your mouth, Because there are times when your kid is pushing you, but when they come out of your mouth, they are as positive as they possibly can be. Because when they're positive, your baby's going to copy those words. It's going to mimic you because that's what you're here to do. You're creating this little soul and this little person and this little human being. You're making them a version of you and a version of them, and they're merging together, and that's who they are as a person. So you have to be the good person. You have to be the beacon of light. You have to be the strength so that they copy you in a positive and healthy way. And that, my friend, is how we heal the world. So anyway, that's where I am now, is that we're in Newcastle. I'm in the middle of just putting my body back together after 5 months off, after eating a lot of travel food. It's played a lot with like a few hormones here and there, so I'm just balancing them out, but I'm letting myself do it at its own pace. I'm not actually stressed about it. I don't feel like there's a feast and famine. I'm enjoying my body as it goes, and that is a huge progress for me. 10 years ago, I would be freaking out, calling myself fat, thinking I was a failure, thinking that there was something wrong with me, that, you know, I went overseas and I gained weight, which I haven't actually gained that much weight. I've literally gained like 2 kilos and I'm a little bit softer. But that's, I think, to do with hormonal stuff as well. So get it checked, get the health professionals, seek them out and question everything if you don't agree with it. Do the education, find it yourself. But most importantly, the biggest issue that we have with dieting is that it's our toxic thoughts. The toxic thoughts hold you back. So every time you do a 12-week challenge or a 6-week challenge or whatever it is, you've got to make it fun. You've got to make it enjoyable. You've got to make it feel empowering. You've got to talk to yourself with love. You've got to encourage yourself with love. You've got to get out of that headspace that holds you back from, you know, giving effort at the end of your exercise class. You've got to talk yourself, you know, remind yourself that eating a particular way that thrives for you is an act of self-love. And if you're binging and if you have this emotional eating, get a pen and paper, because that, my friend, is the best way to stop yourself from overeating, from, you know, not being able to control yourself. It's such a big thing for you. When you stop that distracted eating, your weight naturally goes down anyway. When you walk off your emotions and you walk off your anxiety and your overwhelm, your weight will go down. It will find this beautiful, like I'm talking beautiful set point that is so easy for you. And when you can have a piece of chocolate or a glass of wine or whatever it is without feasting on the indulgence of it, and you can forgive yourself for it, there is no guilt, there's no judgment, there's no hate, there's no shame, and you, my friend, can move on with your life and just absolutely love everything that you're doing. At the moment, I'm just going to keep going with what I'm doing. I'm just editing some 28-day challenges so I can do an automated, so I can share it with you guys, and it can be automated. You can join at any point in time. So that's an awesome little 28-day challenge. It should hopefully launch in January. And the other thing I'm about to launch is a little competition, because I think over this Christmas period, wouldn't it be awesome if we got to Christmas Day and we were actually still feeling really fit? And so obviously as the days become longer and the kids come home, you actually have less time up your sleeve to get those workouts done or to make time for yourself or whatever it is. Or, you know, there's just stress. What if every time we get in and out of the car, we do a 30-second squat hold? So I literally did it today. I was running around all this morning. It gives me 30 seconds to calm my mind before I go on to the next thing. If I'm 30 seconds late for something, it's not a big deal. And it also means that I've done 6 minutes worth of squat holds today. So I'm strengthening my legs. I am neutralizing my, overwhelming and anxious thoughts. And I'm also just giving myself a little bit of time to collect my thoughts before I go into the house and I go into that chaos, or before, and I do it with Thor on me if I'm getting out and I'm going in and he's coming with me, or I get it from, I'm wearing a shirt, I promise, or I'm going in to get a coffee or something like that. It just makes me feel really good, and it reminds me that I have access to a jungle gym all day long. So what I'm doing with this is I'm going to do basically, it's going to be a competition, and there'll be like a little page for you guys to sign up to. So I have all your details, but I'm giving away a $100 voucher for Lorna Jane, and it's only a week's worth of squatting. So the more times that you squat and the more times that you tag me in your squat, or you show me that you've done the squat in your stories or whatever it is, the more times that you do it, the more entries you get. So I'm literally going to go old school. I'm going to write your name on a piece of paper, chop it up, put it in a mixing bowl, and you're in a raffle. So I'm going to pick the name out of a raffle box on a live or whatever, and then I'll get your details and I'll send you the $100 Lorna Jane voucher, and it'll be before Christmas. How cool is that? So excited. I love sharing this stuff with you. I love giving away freebies. I love getting you guys to move. I love getting you guys to think, outside of that box that you're in where you can only go to the gym. So that's the end of my story. I'm still on my journey, as we all are, because journeys will never end. And I'm excited to see what's next. Next year, I've got a few workshops coming up. I want to create a book out of my 28-day challenge. And yeah, I'm doing a few little launches with the 28-day challenge where you'll get bonus features over the year. And yeah, I'm really, really excited to bring all of this information and content and share it with you guys. That's it from me. Be brave, be you. Love you lots. Bye.